Hey you. Yes, you. Are you sick of aliens and humans coexisting? Do you think your current sci-fi setting is too nice and peaceful? Are you sick of the Marvel baby stories Disney is spoon-feeding you? Does your Star Wars not have enough wars in it? Well, you're in luck, because today I am introducing you to the wonderful world of Warhammer 40,000. Bring a mop with you, there's going to be a lot of blood. I'm going to split this discussion into 3 sections: the lore, the games, and the hobby. It's important to know that you don't need to be into all of those to enjoy Warhammer, but you should be. A lot of them work hand in hand with each other. The lore. I'm going to jump right into the lore. 40k has a lot of lore, like a lot. Just to put it into perspective, the Horus Heresy, which is the prequel to all Warhammer 40k lore, is covered by 62 books, and it's not even finished yet. I think in total there's about 300 to 400 Warhammer books published, so by the time you get to reading them all, your grandchildren will be unplugging you from your life support. But maybe you don't like reading books, because books are lame. Well, you're in luck, because there's also Warhammer audiobooks, or if those don't float your boat, there are countless amounts of Warhammer YouTubers out there who make great content. But before you jump into the lore, it's important to realize the challenges that come with it. There's absolutely no way you're going to understand everything about Warhammer off the bat, or really for a long time. I mean, I still don't know everything about Warhammer 40k, and I've been neglecting my children because of it for about half a year. It's always changing and expanding, so there's always something new to enjoy. But luckily for you, most of the important stuff stays the same. So focus on the things that pop out to you the most. Maybe it's the literally me attitude of Conrad Kurz or Sevatar, the sadistic captain of the Night Lords. Or maybe it's the silly, socially awkward attitude the Lion has that leads him to quite literally beat the devil out of his second-in-command, Luther. Or maybe it's not even the Space Marines, and you just like learning about Trazyn and his Pokemon adventures around a galaxy that's actively trying to kill him and everything around him. Oh boy, I can already tell this is going into a tangent. Let's move on to the hobby. I'll be straightforward with you about the hobby. It's expensive. Very expensive. But it beats therapy. Actually, I think therapy is cheap. It's exactly what it markets itself as. A hobby. It's something to do for fun, or just to kill some time. I personally like to paint miniatures, specifically Space Marines. It brings the world of Warhammer to life. It allows for all the possibilities you imagine while learning about the 40k mythos to become real, unleashing your creativity like a swarm of filthy heretics through holy terror. For example, I made, and I'm still working on, a Guardsman Night Lord's tank, which technically makes absolutely no sense, but in the words of my friend,
you can do whatever you want.
So you want to make a Loyalist Night Lords chapter? Go for it. You want to make a fully autonomous Iron Hands army? You'll be executed by the Inquisition, but I am the last person who will stop you. The choices and options you have available are unlimited, as long as you have the skill or the endurance to stick with the hobby. And to those saying, I'm not an artist, or I don't have the patience for it, I say just give it a shot at least once. When I was fresh into the hobby about a year ago, I could barely thin my paints, but with some practice and improvements in techniques over many minis, I can finally do a half-decent job. And I swear, man, the dopamine levels seeing my latest mini are incomprehensible, unreasonably intoxicating. Moral of the story? If you want a new, fun, creative hobby, paint minis. If you're not good at it, keep working on improving and don't give up. Now we move on to our final section, the games. I'll get the tabletop out of the way because I'll level with you guys, it's not really my thing, but it's a great way to pass the time with friends and really add that self-inserted Loyalist Space Marine chapter or Chaos Warband into the universe. It's essentially a way to bring your minis to life if you enjoyed the discussion about that in the second section. Now, let's move on to the video games. There's a lot of Warhammer games over the last few years, but I'm mainly going to be talking about 4. Do you like the idea of the huge, over-the-top, spacious environment Warhammer has, and enjoy the theme of a never-ending cycle of war? Well, I recommend you play Warhammer 40k Darktide. Yeah, it doesn't have Space Marines in it, or Primarchs, but it gives you a glimpse into the real world of Warhammer, behind all that Space Marine mumbo-jumbo. And it does a really good job. It's fun, you're still gonna have a great time killing hundreds of heretical scum, and the scenery is just mwah! Chef's kiss. Then there's Shoota's Blood and Teeth. This is for the people who may not like the grim, dark, and depressing feel, and would rather around killing fools, getting some loot, and becoming the big boss. It's fairly simple yet challenging, if you don't take the easy way out, and has some funny moments. And it's overall just a good game for a nice change of pace, but still has that Warhammer feel to it. But I know that no one cares about guardsmen or orcs, so let's talk about what everyone wants to hear. Warhammer 40k Space Marines. I think this is the first game that really put Warhammer on the map, probably only second to Dawn of War. The best way I can describe Space Marines is a third-person shooter hack and slash. You basically play as a captain of a Space Marine company as you run around killing enemy factions like the orcs. I don't want to spoil anything story-wise, but it's a great way to get into the universe, and even a great game that's casual that any gamer can play. And then we have Boltgun, probably my favorite game on this list. Imagine Space Marine, but crank the violence to
over 1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000.
It's like Doom meets 40k, and not to mention the countless fan service that can be found in the game. This has a little less lore, but it doesn't draw away from the universe at all, even with the whole running and gunning going on almost the entire time. That's all I got for you today, but definitely stick around for more Warhammer videos by clicking that subscribe button. And of course, we do other stuff around here too, like, this video about anime right here. You can watch it. And also make sure to leave a like and a comment because that greatly helps us out. And it costs absolutely nothing.